Announcing. Ladies and gentlemen,
Hello, hello, hello. Bang, bang. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Cakap, cakap.
Region negaraku. Ini lagu negaraku. 1, 2. Raja kita selamat bertata. Ladies and gentlemen, we kindly invite you to take your seats. Thank you. Please fix this problem. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera and a very good morning. I, on behalf of Ministry of Housing and Local Government and Urbanist Malaysia, we truly apologize for the technical difficulties that happened just now. Our guest of honor, the Honourable Prime Minister of Malaysia, Tan Sri Datuk Haji Muhyiddin bin Mohamed Yassin. The Honourable Haja Zuraida binti Kamarudin, the Minister of Housing and Local Government. The Honourable Datuk Sri Ismail bin Abdul Muttalib, the Deputy Minister of Housing and Local Government.
Test.
Honourable Datuk Zainal Abidin bin Abu Hassan, Secretary General of Ministry of Housing and Local Government. The Excellency Datuk Sri Maimunah binti Muhammad Sharif, Executive Director of UN Habitat. The Honourable Datuk Azhar bin Ahmad, Deputy Secretary General of Ministry of Housing and Local Government.
Test.
Town Planner Noliza Hashim, Chief Executive of Urbanist Malaysia. Your Excellencies, Ambassadors and High Commissioners, Honorable State Executive Council, Mayors and Councillors, representatives of national, state and local governments, respected speakers, moderators and participants of Malaysia Urban Forum 2020. To begin the ceremony with blessing from Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala, I would like to invite Yang Berusaha Tuan Haji Ihsan bin Muhammad Husni, Imam Besar Masjid Negara, to lead the doa recitation. Please be invited, Tuan Haji.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين اللهم ربنا اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك رؤوف رحيم اللهم يا الله يا رحمن يا رحيم Ya Allah, di pagi yang penuh barakah ini kami mendatangkan kesyukuran di atas segala limpah kurnia dan nikmat-Mu. Maka dengannya dapat kami berhimpun dalam persidangan Malaysia Urban Forum yang akan dirasmikan oleh Yang Amat Berhormat dan Seri Datuk Haji Muhyiddin bin Haji Muhammad Yassin, Perdana Menteri Malaysia. Allahumma ya Razzaq ya Alim. Ya Allah, Engkau Maha mengetahui akan hasrat dan tujuan. Oleh itu kami pohon kepadamu agar Engkau kurniakan kami ilham dalam melontar idea dan pandangan, membangunkan bandar dengan penuh hemat dan keikhlasan bagi melaksana agenda pembangunan mampan, memelihara ekologi alam anugerah-Mu Tuhan yang Maha mengasihi dengan sifat Rahman kepada setiap insan. Allahumma ya Qawiyyu ya Aziz. Ya Allah, Engkau berikanlah kami kekuatan untuk kami terus melaksana dan menyampaikan perkhidmatan walau dunia dilanda wabak penyakit COVID-19 yang belum berkesudahan. Allahumma ya Allah, Engkau perkukuhkan iman kami dengan salam, niat kami dengan azam, usaha kami dengan penuh iltizam agar kami terus komited dan cekal untuk mencapai objektif yang digariskan. Allahumma ya Hafizu ya Alim wa ya Mujibas Sa'ilin. Ya Allah, Engkau kurniakanlah kami kesihatan yang berpanjangan. Peliharalah kami, pemimpin kami, masyarakat kami daripada sebarang wabak penyakit yang melanda, khususnya COVID-19. Hindarilah kami daripada takdir yang buruk dan suasana tidak tenteram dalam kehidupan. Kekalkanlah kestabilan politik dan ekonomi negara kami khususnya dan negara-negara rakan amnya agar kami semua sentiasa dalam kehormatan, kesejahteraan dan keamanan. Allahumma ilaika nashku du'fa quwwatina wa qilla hilatina wa hawana 'alan nas ya arhamar rahimin anta rabbul mustad'afin wa anta rabbuna. Allahumma ya wasilal munqati'in awsilna ilaik. Allahumma hab lana minka 'amalan salihan yuqarribuna ilaik. Allahumma asturna fawqa al-ardi wa tahta al-ardi wa yawma al-ardi 'alaik. Allahumma ahsin wuqufana bayna yadaik. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ربنا عليك توكلنا وإليك أنبنا وإليك المصير. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. ربنا الله منكم.
Amin, amin ya rabbal alamin. Thank you for the doa Tuan Haji Ihsan bin Muhammad Husni, Imam Besar Masjid Negara. Ladies and gentlemen, Welcome to the opening ceremony of Malaysia Urban Forum 2020. My name is Amalia, and I will be the master of ceremony for the blessed event today. The theme for the conference is Sustainable Urban Nation 2030, Transformative Pathway and Actions to Deliver the Sustainable Agenda, which aims to promote discussions and sharing of solutions towards developing and addressing the many urban challenges we face in becoming a sustainable urban nation 2030. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it is our privilege and honor to call upon Town Planner Noliza Hashim, Chief Executive of Urbanist Malaysia, to deliver her welcoming remarks. Please welcome Town Planner Noliza Hashim, CEO of Urbanist Malaysia.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera dan a very good morning to everyone. Yang the Right Honourable Tan Sri Muhammad Haji Muhyiddin bin Muhammad Yassin, the Prime Minister of Malaysia, Honourable Puan Hajah Zuraida binti Kamaruddin, Minister of Housing and Local Government, Honourable Datuk Sri Maimunah binti Sharif, Executive Director of UN Habitat, Honourable Datuk Sri Dr. Haji Ismail bin Haji Abdul Muttalib, Deputy Minister of Housing and Local Government, the Honourable Datuk Zainal Abidin bin Abu Hassan, Secretary General of Ministry of Housing and Local Government, and the Honourable Datuk Azhar, Deputy Secretary General of Ministry of Housing and Local Government, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, we would like to thank our Right Honourable Prime Minister for joining us this morning to officiate Malaysian Urban Forum 2020. We know it has been a very hectic schedule for you, Tan Sri, and we truly appreciate your kind support and presence here today. In February 2018, Malaysia hosted the 9th session of the World Urban Forum, where Ministry of Housing and Local Government and Urbanist Malaysia act as the focal point. It was the first World Urban Forum after the adoption of the Sustainable Development Goals and New Urban Agenda in 2015. One of the key takeaways of MUF9 was the Kuala Lumpur Declaration, where the 30,000 people who attended agreed that it was very important to accelerate the implementation of the 2030 Sustainable Agenda for us to achieve the aspiration for a sustainable future of our city. It calls for 3 key actions. 1. Formulation of implementation frameworks. 2. Collaborative governance and multi-stakeholders partnerships. And 3. A culture of creativity and innovation embedded in the way our cities operate. Since then, our work has focused on these actions, with firm emphasis on the localization of sustainable agenda by addressing the local urban issues and finding the right local solution. We believe that in order to accelerate, there need to be collective efforts by all relevant stakeholders to take immediate actions. Hence, this morning, the Malaysia Urban Forum has been introduced, where multi-stakeholders come, participate, discuss, share their thoughts, views, ideas, and solutions to address the many challenges brought by urbanization. It is in line with UN Habitat's National Urban Forum framework that promotes inclusive discussions towards improving urbanization strategies through the participation of local, regional, and national governments. Right Honourable Prime Minister and distinguished guests, this is our second Malaysia Urban Forum, the first being in February 2019. The theme remains as we want to set our goal towards a sustainable urban nation by 2030. However, Tan Sri, this year the focus is on developing action plans and declaring actions and reporting on progress on by our diversified stakeholders. Prior to today, we have engaged 4 stakeholder groups: the women, the youth, the grassroots, and city leaders, in 4 pre-event labs that was carried out in August and early September. We also had pre-discussion with key stakeholders in subject matters that require much attention Though the pandemic has made it very challenging to hold this event, it has made us more convinced that a discussion is even more necessary now, as we may have to revisit our policies, strategies to include the impact of COVID-19 on our cities and communities' livelihoods. We are most happy to inform our Honorable Prime Minister, our ministers, and everyone here today that this is a first hybrid forum where we combine both virtual and physical platform to host 50 varied forum sessions and a virtual exhibition over the next 3 days. The session in this auditorium is actually live streamed, and we are joined currently by audience online. We have 20 virtual networking sessions hosted by various organizations, locally as well as internationally, from Spain, from Austria, from even Indonesia, and we also have people dialing in from United Kingdom. In organizing MUF2020, we truly appreciate the support and guidance given by the management of the Ministry of Housing and Local Government, the support and inputs given by our global partners, UN Habitat, Datuk Sri is here today, UN ASCAP, and also UNDP. Thank you to our partners and sponsors, MBSA, Shah Alam, City Council, Prima, the Green Technology Application for the Development of Low Carbon Cities, and our knowledge partners, Advisory 27 and the EU Commission. Our special event partners serve on the Active Lifestyle app, which will be launched today at 5 p.m, and our venue partner, AIAC. Thank you also to our supporting partners from various government agencies, professional bodies, public universities, stakeholders organizations, our 50 young volunteers, and the media. We are also proud to work with a group of talented, highly skilled Malaysians that has worked very hard to make this event possible. Even though there was a technical glitch just now, Tan Sri, but actually the crew in this auditorium, there are so many of them actually, and some of them are behind the glass wall, and we have an operating center at level 1 of this building to make the virtual platform smooth running for the next 3 days. We hope our distinguished guests and delegates will take time and join us virtually too, and we will definitely share the outcome of MUF2020. Once again, our deep appreciation to our Right Honourable Prime Minister, our distinguished guests and delegates here and online. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Town Planner Noliza Hashim, Chief Executive of Urbanism Malaysia. Give her a round of applause again. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to invite Her Excellency Datuk Sri Maimunah binti Muhammad Sharif, Executive Director of UN Habitat, to deliver her speech. Let us welcome Her Excellency Datuk Sri Maimunah binti Muhammad Sharif. Please be invited.
Terima kasih saudari pengacara majlis. Yang amat berhormat Tan Sri Datuk Haji Muhyiddin bin Haji Muhammad Yassin, Prime Minister of Malaysia. Yang berhormat Puan Hajah Zuraidah bin Kamaruddin, Minister of Housing and Local Government. Yang berusaha Town Planner Puan Noliza bin Hashim, Executive Director of Urbanism Malaysia. My colleague, Mr. Stephen Prisna, the Resident Coordinator of the United Nations for Malaysia, Brunei, and Singapore, and also the colleague from UN ASCAP, Honorable Ministers, Your Excellencies, Honorable Mayors, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi dan salam sejahtera. Yang amat berhormat Prime Minister, thank you for the opportunity and support to host the world's first hybrid Malaysia Urban Forum. Your government's continued support for the United Nations and your strong message at the UN 75, quote unquote, that the international community works together to uphold a system based on our shared universal values through dialogues and cooperation. And close, is a very much appreciated, Tan Sri. We also heed your advice to build back better for generations to come. May I take this opportunity to commend Malaysia for its continued exemplary all-of-community effort to combat COVID-19. As you said, sir, in your speech at the United Nations General Assembly, that the pandemic has leveled the playing field for all nations. And yet, we need to avoid nationalistic competition to ensure the vaccine is available to all if we want to defeat this pandemic. This is a very sound advice indeed. Thank you. Excellencies and distinguished guests, this first hybrid urban forum is the new norm. It demonstrates the resilience of the Malaysian people. To guests joining in virtually, a warm hello from Kuala Lumpur and from Malaysia. I'm No, my colleague in Nairobi and also in New York and in 93 countries where UN Habitat is operating is also watching this. My deepest thanks also to Yang Berhormat Puan Hajah Zuraida bin Kamaruddin, the Honorable Minister for Housing and Local Government, for warmly welcoming the United Nations Human Settlement Program, UN Habitat, and in our role as a global partner for this pioneering forum. Thank you, YB, for inviting me to offer this keynote address. Yang Amat Berhormat Prime Minister and Honorable Ministers, this global pandemic has irreversibly changed all our life. Please allow me to express my heartfelt condolences to the families who have lost their loved ones, including those in Malaysia, who continue to grapple with the impacts. More than ever, we are reminded of the need for solidarity and cooperation, the need for peace and harmonious resolutions of conflicts, and the needs for future thinkings and human ingenuity. At a time when the world and its people need more from all of us, I urge the participants of this Malaysian Urban Forum and those connecting globally to take this opportunity to be bold and visionary in leading solutions to address the crisis of our times. Let me underscore that COVID-19 is fundamentally an urban crisis, with 95% of the infections happening in towns and cities. Among Asia-Pacific countries, Malaysia is one of the most urbanized, expected to reach 80% urbanization rate by 2030. Proximity and networks of connectivity that have traditionally enhanced economies of scale and agglomeration are now challenging nations and cities to maintain productivity. As the UN agencies for local governments, UN Habitat is in close contact with over 1,000 local governments worldwide, assisting with guidance notes and with socio-economic recovery measures. Malaysia is exemplary in encouraging responsible citizens to adhere to social distancing practices and for adapting to new health and travel guidelines established. Over the last 40 years, Malaysia has also made tremendous strides in reducing the ratio of absolute poverty from 49% to 0.4%. Congratulations. This is spurred by urban population increasing by 500,000 inhabitants every year over the last 10 years, and driven by the power of density and the positive interaction created by them. Through dedicated initiatives targeting B40 households in Malaysia, such as the RM1 billion fund for the edible homes and RM100 micro homes, stamp duty exemption and discounted home ownership in the area of B40 and My Salam in the area of health, Malaysia has been driving forth and delivering meaningful programs serving the most vulnerable population from even before the pandemic. Addressing the prevailing socio-economic inequalities, along with other forms of urban and territorial disadvantages, will require that the 12th Malaysia Plan adopts an integrated and well-planned regional strategy. Malaysia needs to increase the alignment and coherence of policies among government at local, subnational, and national level. I welcome YB Zuraida's call for the regional and local authorities to be enhanced and strengthened. Today, Malaysia needs to build back better and greener, focusing on regeneration work in the 3 urban agglomerations, including Greater Kuala Lumpur, Georgetown, and Johor Bahru. The engines of growth account for nearly half of the national urban population and needs to heed the advice of the Prime Minister to build back better and to build back greener. UN Habitat is already working in Johor, Malacca, Penang, and Selangor to help addressing issues of planning and sustainable development. At this point, let me say that based on our analysis and partnership with other UN agencies, we hope Malaysia will pursue a more balanced regional development that will require focus on 3 priority areas. 1, strengthening regional economic development. 2nd, bridging the urban-rural development gaps. And 3rd, accelerating development in Sabah and Sarawak. This will create a virtuous cycle where cities support wealth creation and sustainability of the nation. We must review the fabric of urban and territorial planning in Malaysia, looking beyond municipal and district boundaries. Earlier, I spoke about the needs of human ingenuity, and I wanted to touch on digital frontier. We are now in a hybrid physical and virtual platform. The global pandemic illustrates that some of us can work virtually everywhere, like myself. I've been working for the past 4 months in Malaysia. To achieve a progressive Malaysia, we will require agile governance, a fair dose of innovation and investment in both physical and digital structures, utilities, and services to make sure no one is left behind. As I stand here before you, not among my global family, but first and foremost a daughter of Malaysia, coming from Kuala Pilah, Negeri Sembilan, YAB Tan Sri, let me implore you that only by speaking openly and constructively while working together in unison, will we be able to deliver on Yang Amat Berhormat Prime Minister's guidance at the General Assembly to build back better for future generations. UN Habitat stands ready to support Malaysians in realizing its goal for a more equitable and caring society. As a penholder of the Secretary General Policy Brief on COVID-19 in an urban world, through UN Habitat's catalogue of services, our operations are active in over 90 countries. UN Habitat COVID-19 response plan addresses the needs of the most vulnerable communities in 64 countries. We are working closely with our resident coordinator and our line ministry, as well as local governments, to assist Malaysia in achieving its SDG target. In closing, let me emphasize that planning interventions towards more harmonious and inclusive regional development, supported by cost-effective infrastructural development and connectivity, and adequate economic and social policies with a strong urban component, are key to uplift the well-being of all Malaysians. I look forward to joining you during this forum in discussing the theme Sustainable Urban Nation 2030 and upon the transformative pathway and actions to deliver the sustainable agenda in Malaysia. UN Habitat is ready to support you in designing people-centered policies and connect you closely. Thank you for your willingness, your readiness, your preparedness to engage in this important discussion, which I look forward to hearing the result. Terima kasih. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the speech, Excellency Datuk Sri Maimuna, for the speech given. Ladies and gentlemen, to warm this special morning even further, it is our honor and great pleasure to invite the Honorable Minister Hajah Zuraida binti Kamarudin to deliver her welcoming address. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Honorable Minister Hajah Zuraida binti Kamarudin, Minister of Housing and Local Government. Please be invited.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalam wala asyrafil wal mursalin wal alihi wasahbihi ajmain. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, yang amat berhormat Tan Sri Datuk Haji Muhyiddin bin Haji Mohamed Yassin, Prime Minister of Malaysia, our utmost gratitude for your time being with us this morning. Yang berbahagia Datuk Sri Maimuna binti Sharif, our Executive Director of UN Habitat. InsyaAllah, we will accelerate our development in Sabah, especially after our victory last weekend. Yang berhormat Datuk Sri Haji Ismail bin Haji Abdul Muttalib, my Deputy Housing and Local Government Minister. And Datuk Zainal Abidin, my Secretary General of Ministry of Housing and Local Government. And Datuk Azhar, Deputy Secretary General of Housing and Local Government. And of course, my Town Planner, Nurliza binti Hashim, the CEO of Urbanize Malaysia. Alhamdulillah, we are here together in Malaysia for this hybrid conference. It is a great honor for me to welcome delegates to the Malaysian Urban Forum 2020 in Kuala Lumpur from 28th to 30th September 2020. I would like to convey my sincere gratitude to Ministry of Housing and Local Government and Urbanize Malaysia for hosting MUF2020, and warm welcome to all the participants of MUF2020. I understand that over 20,000 people have registered for MUF2020 to attend physically and virtually as participants. There are more than 10 United Nations organizations, some 50 organizations and agencies in Malaysia, and representatives of member states come together to take part in almost 150 official events. Ladies and gentlemen, Malaysian Urban Forum 2020 with the theme Sustainable Urban Nation 2030, the transformative pathway and actions to deliver the sustainable agenda that will take place from 28th to 30th September 2020 is the occasion for heads of state and governments, mayors, academia, women, youth, grassroots, and businesses together with all relevant stakeholders to review progress and monitoring in the implementation of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Goals and the new Urban Agenda, NOA. The theme being inspired by the World Urban Forum 9 and 10, MUF2019, and the 7th Asia Pacific Urban Forum in Penang in 2019. The Voluntary National Reviews 2017, under the auspices of the Malaysia Department of Statistics and Economic Planning Unit, have shown that many governments and private sectors have prioritized the integrations of SDGs into their national plans and policies, including local government and cities. Institutional arrangements has been made to drive and monitor progress. Initial progress has been achieved and challenges identified. There has also been significant response from stakeholders, including international organizations, businesses, civil society, academia, youth, and others, who, through a wide range of actions and initiatives, have identified entry points to advance SDGs and NOA implementations. Ministry of Housing and Local Government and Urbanize Malaysia are also in the progress to develop Malaysia SDG Cities Roadmap to better respond to the paradigm shift at the heart of the 2030 agenda in Malaysia's cities. MUF2020 therefore aims to not only review progress, but also to provide political leadership, guidance, and recommendations for accelerating progress towards the 2030 agenda. The MUF2020 high-level dialogue is intended to provide platforms to heads of state and governments to share insights, recommendations on the 5 main sub-themes that will be addressed during the forum, namely, 1, inclusive urbanization, 2, technology and innovation for sustainability, 3rd, urban resilience and low carbon agenda, 4th, culture and creative cities, and 5th, financial sustainability. Objectives of the MUF2020 is 1, to introduce government officials, local government, policy makers, professional practitioners, civil society and academia in Malaysia to the current issues on sustainable urban development. 2 is to emphasize the importance of sustainable urban development in enhancing social well-being. 3rd is to highlight some of the new trends in sustainable urban development that are being used in the different countries around the world. 4th is to provide policymakers with updated sustainable urban development and a framework for analyzing urban well-being issues. And finally, last one is to develop a new knowledge of responsive community leaders in organizations and institutions on sustainable urban development. Localizing the SDGs around the world, it is emerging as common practice that mayors, city managers, and municipal officials are adapting and applying the complete SDG agenda to their local realities. Cities interested in using the SDGs typically start by aligning their city strategies, plans, and priorities against the goals, testing the national SDG targets for relevance to their local realities, and calibrating them to local development aspirations. Then they identify indicators and sources of data to measure their performance and progress. Mayors and city officials have neutral instinct to be concerned about their most vulnerable and marginalized residents. They hear directly from constituents about their improvements or regressions in the community. The proximity revealed issues like homelessness and slums, turning statistical abstractions into tangible and visible realities. Cities attract people from all walks of life. They therefore need to embrace diversity and make social inclusion a priority. The city of the future must be one that leaves no one behind. Malaysia is on the right track towards achieving SDGs aimed at enhancing the contribution of cities to sustainable development and at ensuring that cities are inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. Malaysia currently focuses on multi-dimensional goals and implementing the new urban agenda to demonstrate the benefits of a sustainable pathway for rapid urbanization communities. Ladies and gentlemen, NOA represents a shared vision for a better and more sustainable future. If well planned and well managed, urbanization can be a powerful tool for sustainable development for both developing nations and developed nations. NOA provides a clear framework for activities and reinforces existing aspirations to make cities and human settlements inclusively safe, resilient, and sustainable, and all other urban agendas of the SDGs. The agenda's focus is all about enhancing people's lives and well-being and creating a shared vision for a sustainable future. NOA has multiple connections beyond itself and contributes directly to achieving the targets set out in the Sustainable Development Goals, the Paris Agreement, Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction, Addis Ababa Action Agenda, and several other international frameworks and agreements. The implementations of NOA is roadmap for building cities that can serve as engines of prosperity and centers of cultural and social well-being while protecting the environment. The agenda also provides guidance for achieving the SDGs and provides the underpinning for actions to address climate change. The needs of integrated and holistic development plan at national level, at the regional level, and also at the state level, as well as the local level, is very important to consciously implement the NOA and 17 SDGs. This makes MUF2020 the ideal platform to debate on the contribution that positive urban development makes to deliver the 17 SDGs and NOA. We need to walk the talk, and I'm hoping all of us partners to support one another and the United Nations to help countries achieve the SDGs through the implementation of NOA. Ladies and gentlemen, urbanization in Asia Pacific and Malaysia presents ample opportunities for economic prosperity and social advancement. Many of the fastest growing cities in Asia Pacific are expected to drive almost 80% of its GDP growth through 2030. The implementation of the SDGs is very much in with Malaysia's own development plans, the vision of shared prosperity 2030, not mentioning the national community policy set by our ministry. Comes also the fourth industrial revolution, where digital, physical, and biological spheres converge. The dynamism of this cycle is progressing at an unprecedented pace with a scope that is almost unimaginable. Ladies and gentlemen, as a fighter for gender equal opportunities, I cannot end my speech without emphasizing on the importance of having a clear gender lens as being specified in SDG 5. Women participation completes the cycle of a good decision-making factors. More women, better nation is the spirit that must be upheld within us. Like the theme for the Women International Day 2019, balance for better. I would like to conclude my speech by thanking all of you once again for your serious and committed discussions during this journey, which has placed urbanization as the top of the 2030 agenda for sustainable development. Once again, also warm welcome to all participants of MUF2020, and once again, my gratitude to our dear Prime Minister for being able here with us despite his hectic schedule and his time of no rest. Thank you very much, Yang Amat Berhormat Tan Sri Muhyiddin. And also Urbanize Malaysia for organizing this forum. To all participants, speakers alike, I'm confident you will all come up with a lot of new ideas and out-of-the-box proposal to help us all drive sustainable smart nation through transformational changes for collective benefits for all stakeholders and the nation. I wish you all a fruitful week at the MUF2020. Let us build together a sustainable community and sustainable generation for our dear Malaysia. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister Hajah Zuraida binti Kamarudin, Minister of Housing and Local Government. As what the Honorable Minister said, more women, better nation. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment that we have been waiting for, it is our pleasure to invite our guest of honor, the Honorable Tan Sri Datuk Haji Muhyiddin bin Haji Muhammad Yassin, Prime Minister of Malaysia, to deliver his address and to declare the forum open. Please welcome the Honorable Tan Sri Datuk Haji Muhyiddin bin Haji Muhammad Yassin, Prime Minister of Malaysia.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good morning. Yang berusaha pengacara majlis, Yang berhormat Puan Hajah Zuraida binti Kamarudin, Minister of Housing and Local Government Malaysia, Senior Ministers, Yang berbahagia Datuk Seri Maimunah binti Sharif, Executive Director of UN Habitat, Yang Muhammad Dato' Sri Dr. Haji Ismail bin Haji Abdul Muttalib, Deputy Minister of Housing and Local Government. Yang berbahagia Dato' Zainal Abidin Abu Hassan, Secretary General of Ministry of Housing and Local Government. Yang berusaha Town Planner Nurliza Binti Hashim, the CEO of Urbanize Malaysia. Distinguished guests, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Alhamdulillah, praise be to Allah that we can all gather here today at this Malaysia Urban Forum 2020. This is a national level forum that aims to promote discussions and sharing of knowledge and solutions towards developing and addressing the many challenges we face in becoming a sustainable and developed nation. After 63 years of independence, Malaysia has certainly matured as we continuously work very hard to strengthen and diversify our economy, improve our human capital capacity and capabilities, overcome the disparities in income inequality, to reduce poverty of our people, and endlessly combating rising environmental changes. New challenges will continue to emerge as we are a fast developing nation. But I believe that our strong foundation built over times has made us to be more resilient and responsive in overcoming these challenges. I believe these are in line with the tenets of the 2030 Sustainable Agenda that Malaysia as a member state of the United Nations has and will continue to commit. COVID-19 has indeed challenged us further and given us a wake-up call. And on top of combating and monitoring cases, every nation, including Malaysia, is forced to reassess all that has been done and are to be done. And though COVID-19 has brought us much challenges and pain, it has at the same time brought us all together to think on what's best for the people, be it the health, the jobs, and income, as well as the social welfare or social well-being and welfare. The Rakyat has always been our priority, and the Perikatan National Government of Malaysia will continue to work together with the private sector and financial institutions to ensure that we can find ways and means to reduce the impacts of COVID-19. Ladies and gentlemen, Malaysia is of course committed in carrying out its poverty eradication efforts. However, despite the many policies and programs that we have introduced, poverty remains a growing concern to us. With the recent revision of the National Poverty Line Income, the PLI, from Ringgit Malaysia 980 to Ringgit Malaysia 2,208, more than 400,000 households have fallen within this level, i.e. 5.6% of Malaysians. That's much different from what Ambassador Mahmuna was saying earlier. Now, the revision of the national PLI now takes into consideration the optimum food requirement, as well as quality and healthy eating, unlike in the past where we used to only consider the concept of minimum. Now, this is important as a strong nation builds upon a healthy nation. Hence, we must ensure that our people have sufficient quality and nutritious food. Now, since the pandemic, we have seen relentless efforts in urban farming carried out by the Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Housing and Local Government, as well as by the local communities. I hope these good efforts will continue as we focus on food to table to ensure no hunger and malnutrition amongst Malaysians and to help reduce the burden of our poor households, especially those living in the urban areas. Ladies and gentlemen, para hadirin sekalian, pada 25 Ogos 2020 yang lalu, saya telah turun Padang untuk melawat penduduk projek perumahan rakyat, the PPR, Desa Rejang, Setapak, Kuala Lumpur. Bagi meninjau dan juga melihat sendiri keadaan kehidupan penduduk miskin bandar di situ, dari golongan warga emas hinggalah kepada golongan kurang upaya ataupun OKU. Kebanyakan mereka ini membuat perniagaan kecil-kecilan, bekerja sebagai pemandu teksi dan lori, serta ramai juga yang membuat kerja sendiri untuk meneruskan kehidupan mereka yang sekian hari semakin mencabar.
You are now muted.
Antara perkara yang boleh dipertingkatkan adalah dengan menambah baik pusat komuniti setempat dengan aktiviti menambah kemahiran, keusahawanan dan memperkasakan pendidikan anak-anak mereka untuk menjamin kesejahteraan pada masa depan. Kerajaan Perikatan Nasional akan sentiasa meletakkan agenda membantu rakyat sebagai keutamaan dan akan terus mencari pelbagai kaedah bagi membantu meningkatkan taraf hidup golongan ini. Ladies and gentlemen, to date, 77% of the Malaysian population reside in the urban areas. And this is expected to increase to 80% or 26 million people by 2030. Now, with such a large population in the cities, we will be even more challenged to provide for the needs of the urban societies, manage the waste generated, overcome the income or the increasing traffic problems and air pollution, provide affordable homes, ensure sufficient access to water, uninterrupted power supply, provide quality access to public transportation and telecommunication, as well as overcoming severe flooding in the cities. We are also challenged by the change in demographic profile,
You are now
where
unmuted.
Malaysia will become an aging society by 2045, and where 14% of our population will be 65 years and above, like me. This will bring about new challenges in health services needs and physical environment. Hence, our cities and urban environment must be age and gender friendly as we prepare ourselves for this change in the social profile. It is time, of course, we address the aging society in our national development plans and relook at our planning and physical development in order to meet the needs of the elderly community. Now, the Sustainable Development Goal, or the SDG 11 on sustainable cities and communities, requires its adopters to ensure safe, accessible, and inclusive city places. Thus, we need to provide good quality public spaces for communities to gather, strengthen social cohesion, and allow cities to highlight the local cultural identity. We must not compromise these spaces. We need them even more today, where the role of urban public spaces in our health, well-being, and social life has become more significant. The needs of the disabled to live independently and have equal opportunities is equally important. And that's how cities must be people-friendly and barrier-free. And if our cities are to be truly sustainable, they must be truly equitable. Ladies and gentlemen, I was informed that the forum has engaged stakeholder groups. This is important to understand the needs of the various groups of our rakyat. The inclusion of city leaders, women, youth, grassroots, and the elderly is commendable, as their role is in ensuring cities are livable and sustainable should never be undermined. I look forward to hearing their contributions and commitments towards Malaysia's growth and success. Now, with just 10 years to achieve the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, we should not only address the challenges and aspirations mentioned, but we need to report and show our action plan, progress, and efforts towards achievements of the SDGs in view of the vision for Malaysia to be a sustainable urban nation. And all these undoubtedly require concerted efforts by ministries, by agencies at the national, state, and local levels to work together to align our policies and strategies to ensure that our future growth will take place in a more responsible, more integrated, and sustainable manner. We must strengthen our bottom-up feedback system to ensure integration and cooperations on policy matters and better coordinations of action plans to reduce the mismatch between the real needs and plan. The formulation of the Malaysia SDG cities as the key outcome of KL declarations of 2018 at the World Urban Forum 9, which Malaysia hosted in 2018, is an action plan, roadmap, framework for cities. And this is timely and important as Malaysian cities need to address local challenges and set their own pathways and targets guided by the SDG goals and aligned to national policies on sustainability. Congratulations to KPKT and Urbanize Malaysia for all your efforts. I hope everyone, including local stakeholders, will work together with this government to address the many impending issues arising. Local leaders, of course, play an increasingly important role here. They are connected directly to the communities and are involved in the planning, development, and management of cities. It is therefore crucial for the local leaders, be it their community representatives or local governments or the local authorities, to operate in a more engaging manner, as this will lead towards a more effective and, of course, more efficient management systems. Strong partnerships with all levels is vital, including with the communities, the NGOs, professional, business, and the private sector, as well as the government machinery. The private sector plays an important role where they can help in strengthening the local economic growth and providing employment. Hence, partnerships to implement sustainable agenda and transform the business environment is vital to overcome poverty and financing of sustainable development. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to congratulate the Ministry of Housing and Local Government and Urbanize Malaysia for organizing and hosting this Malaysia Urban Forum 2020. I believe this is the first urban forum held during this COVID-19 period. I hope it can be an annual event so that the stakeholders can meet regularly to measure the progress of the commitment made in this year's forum. I also like to thank UN Habitat for being the partner of this important program, and the Executive Director of UN Habitat, Datuk Sri Maimunah Sharif, who is also our former Mayor of Penang and Seberang Perai, though she comes from Negeri Sembilan. And it's good to see you here in Malaysia again since the last time I met her at the United Nations meeting. I hope UN Habitat will continue to support us. To the representatives of UNESCAP, United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia Pacific, UNDP, United Nations Development Programme, and UCLG ASPEC, United Cities and Local Governments for Asia Pacific, thank you for being here and for supporting this very important forum. To all participants of this forum, I look forward to hearing your deliberations, which I believe will lead to shared knowledge and ideas that we can use in our efforts to advance sustainable urban development. I wish all of you fruitful deliberations. May God Almighty bless us on our efforts, and with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah, the most righteous, most merciful, I declare the Malaysia Urban Forum 2020 officially open. Together, we'll work to build a sustainable Malaysia. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister, for that excellent speech. Sir, we would like to request that you remain on stage, and we would like to invite all of the honorable guests to join our Prime Minister on stage for the launch of Malaysia Urban Forum 2020. Please be invited. The honorable guests, please be invited to come forward to the tablet and to press and key in the password in the tablet. In 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, and there we have it. Malaysia Urban Forum 2020 is officially open. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And Tan Sri, we have a very special presentation on Malaysia's sustainable agenda for our honored guests. Our Malaysia SDG Cities Framework. The framework is an outcome of the Kuala Lumpur Declaration made in the 9th session of World Urban Forum Agenda and SDGs to achieve the 2030 Sustainable Agenda. Honorable Prime Minister, we would like to hand over to you and all distinguished guests on the stage the Malaysia SDGs Cities Framework. Please be invited. To capture this special moment, we would like to invite the Honorable Prime Minister and our honorable guests for a group photo with the youth. Special thanks to our 7 youths. Honorable Prime Minister, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen. We would like to invite the 5 cities that committed to the SDG agenda after this. Special thanks to our 7 youths. Honorable Prime Minister, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to invite the 5 cities that have committed to the SDG agenda. We are now inviting the Honorable Datuk Nur Hisham bin Ahmad Dahlan, the Mayor of Kuala Lumpur. Please be invited. Congratulations. And now we are inviting the Honorable Dr. Aminuddin bin Hasim, the President of Pembadanan Putrajaya. Please be invited. And now we're inviting Honorable Datuk Haris bin Kasim, Mayor of Shah Alam City Council. Please be invited. Congratulations, Datuk. And now we're inviting Honorable Datuk Zainal bin Haji Abu, Mayor of Melaka Historical City Council. Please be invited. Congratulations, Datuk Zainal. And now we are inviting the Honorable Muhammad Fadil bin Hassan, President of Alor Gajah Municipal Council. Please be invited. Thank you, Tan Sri, and congratulations to all the President and Mayors, Honorable Prime Minister. In our sincere appreciation for your presence here today, we would like to invite the Honorable Minister of Housing and Local Government, Hajah Zuraida Kamruddin, to present a special memento to our Prime Minister. This special painting is painted by a very special young and talented lady who is also a great fan of our Prime Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, we introduce to you Wan Jamila, an award-winning 7th artist known worldwide as Art Jamila. The painting depicts our lives that has been affected by COVID-19 and how our Prime Minister, our leaders and our frontliners has worked hard to overcome the pandemic situation. Thank you, Art Jamila. Give a round of applause to Art Jamila. Thank you, Tan Sri. Thank you, Art Jamila. Honorable Prime Minister, we would like to invite the Honorable Datuk Sri Maimunah Muhammad Sharif after this to hand over the 2020 catalogue of services to the Prime Minister. Please be invited. Thank you, honorable guests, honorable Prime Minister and our honorable guests. We would like to invite to take a photo with the audience on the floor. Mr. Prime Minister, and please be invited to all the honorable guests. To the photographers and the videographers, please be invited upstage to take photos. Please make way for Tan Sri. Please maintain your social distancing. To all the audience at the back, All right, thank you very much. We now announce the departure of our Honorable Prime Minister, the Honorable Tan Sri Datuk Haji Muhyiddin bin Mohamed Yassin, accompanied by our Honorable Ministers and Secretary General of Ministry of Housing and Local Government. To the rest of our delegates, we would like to for you to remain in the auditorium. The distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to invite you to some refreshment at the courtyard area at the LG floor. However, we would like for you to be back at the auditorium at 11:30 a.m. for the high-level dialogue 1. We hope you will be on time as we will be going live and online and would appreciate everyone to be on schedule at 11:30 a.m. See you there. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, I kindly advise you to keep your distance from each other. Please maintain the social distancing. Thank you. Nampak yang ada warna tulisan merah tu. Kepala ketua setiausaha